Okay, welcome to SmartWeb YouTube channel. So today, we're starting a series on Python tutorials. So we'll be dealing on everything concerning Python. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see that we are growing SmartWeb Tech. Subscribe to our channel. That's the only thing you can help us do. Now we'll be starting a series on Python based on requests and all that. Now, you know what Python is a very high programming language that's supported across all major operating systems. Now, if you are using Windows, if you are using what is it called, Mac, and all that, now Python is being supported all across all operating systems. Now, first of all, if you want to learn Python, there are two ways. You can run Python online. You can also install Python on your computers. Now, I'll be showing you the two ways in this video that you can run your Python. The first one is you can install it. First of all, for you to install Python, you can type Python for download. When you type Python for download, you can see this Python. You click on it, you try to download it. This is the latest version of Python that is available online. You try to download it and install it in your system. Now, after installing it in your system, if you want to check if it's available in your system, you can open your command prompt and try to check the version. Open your command prompt and type Python version. Click, you can see that this is already what available in my system because I've already installed it on my system. So this is the first thing you will do. Then another thing is this, you have so many editors, IDL that you can use for your IDE that you can use for your Python uh, learning or Python environment, for learning. You can install Python in your computer, as I said before. Now after installing this, you have so many editors. You can search for VS Code if you want to make use of VS Code. For our lesson, I'll be making use of Google Colab. You can also install Anaconda on your system. Depends on what you want to use Python for. Depends on what you want to use it for. Anaconda your system, you can see Anaconda. Now from this Anaconda, you can create Python environment and also use your Jupyter notebook. Depends on what you want to use Anaconda for. Now if you don't know, after installing it, if you don't know how to create your Python environment, I did video on how to create Python environment. Now if you come to my this YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, you can see this particular place that I underlined. This first video here is how you can actually watch this video and see how you can create Python environment and make use of Jupyter Notebook as your editor. Now another thing is another editor. You can use PyCharm. You can use PyCharm as your editor. Now by JetBrains, when you click on PyCharm, now before in PyCharm we have the community that you can use for free and all that, but now I think it's unified. When you click on download, if you go down, you can see that here, you can see it here. PyCharm community is now part of one unified PyCharm. Now switch to unified PyCharm and get all cool community features for free now with built-in Jupyter support. So you can download this particular PyCharm. You can download it and make use of it as your editor and use it in your learning process. Then another thing I want to show you is that if you don't want to pass through this in your learning process, because the truth is, if you're a Python programmer, you really need some of these editors offline because you will not always be online to learn. Now, but if in your learning process you don't want to install any of these and make use of them, you can actually make use of online compilers. You can type Python online online compilers or editor, anyone you want to. Now you can see different editors here, depends on the one that you want to use. This an editor, this an editor, this an editor. Let me show you. Let me go through this. This is an editor. Now if you run this, it will print try program miss. Now this is try program miss. Now you can decide to delete all these print, what's it called, string hello world. Now run it. You see that it is executed already. Now in using online compilers or editors, you don't need to install Python in your system. But whenever you need some things to do, I will advise you to set up your system. Now the same compiler has different programming language that you can make use of. You can see them here. This is for R, this is for online SQL editor, this is for HTML and CSS and all that, but we are focusing more on Python. Now another online editor you can use this online editor also. You can run it. You can run this. Now you can see it's executed. Now it depends on you and what you like using. Now from here I'll be using what's it called, I'll be using leave I'll be using Google Colab as my online editor. Now the same thing happens here. um, as my online editor. When I run this, okay, it's connecting. Let me change my rundown to this, my run time to this. You can see it's run. Now I'll be using for these lessons and everything, I'll be using what's it called, I'll be using Google Colab. Now you can use Google Colab, as I said, and other online editors. So I will advise you to install the ones you need. Like for me, being into data science, I installed Anaconda. I'm also using VS Code because sometimes when I want to do some things on machine learning operations, I prefer using what's it called, I prefer using VS Code. Sometimes I don't want to use Google Colab, I will use Jupyter Notebook you know Python environments by creating Python environments, running it offline without using the internet and all that. So I would advise you to download some of these offline editors and also install Python in your system. Check the version, as I said, and see if it doesn't appear like it. That means you did not install it correctly. You are not able to install it correctly. So this is how to set up your Python, to set up your system, using Python and all that. So getting started with Python, you can see that your first program is what print what hello world. That's the first program you have what printed, and it shows this. Right now, hello world is a program. Now includes the basic syntax of what programming language, and it helps beginners understand the structure before getting started. Now this is why a common practice, we introduce hello world as a new language using what Python. Today we'll be treating on Python comments. Python comments. Now, when you're talking about Python comment, what does Python comment do? Uh, what does Python comment do? Now, when you're introducing Python comments in the tutorial, I have to introduce it early. Now, because we'll be using them to explain the code in upcoming tutorials. Now, the first of all, if you want to write a comment on Python, how do you do that? For example, now, if you print something like um 25 print 25. Now you want to explain what this does. Now you need to what write it in a comment, because if you write this, print a number, print a number, print a number. You can see it's red. When you run this, it will give you an error because it will say syntax error, missing parentheses is equal to print and all that. Now, it doesn't recognize what, just a straight write up. So you want to explain this, you have to use what's this called? Uh, you have to use this is it hash, right? You have to use it to tell Python that this is actually a comment and it should not run this as a syntax, right? Now, when you click on it, you see that it has corrected the whole thing here. Now, now the purpose of this tutorial is to help you to understand comments so that you can ignore the concept, use what, so that you can ignore the other concepts using the program. Now, we'll be learning um different way you can what, do comments. Now, we have what we call the single line comment, in which we use this hash, right? Now, the single line comment, we use this hash for the single line comment, right? For example, you can do something like this: hash declare declare a variable, declare a variable. Now, name is equals to, okay, let me assume John. You put another comment here, hash print name, right? Print name. So you are simply, this is what single line what comment. You are trying to explain, okay, this is, you declared a variable here, you declared a variable here, you declared a variable here, which is what, John, and you want to print what, this name. When you run this, it will print John, right? It will print John, but it will not print what, the comment. Now, this is what a single line comment. Now we have what we call multiple line comments. You have multiple line comments. Now you can see this is single line comments, right? Single line comments. Now we have another one, multiple line comments. Now, how does it work? Multiple, or we'll call it multi-line comments. Multi-line comments. How does it work? Now, this can be done in different ways, okay, but let's go through it. Now, you can type this using the same hash, you know, using the same what, hashtag. For example, this is John, this is John. Another line, the same thing, this is John, hashtag, is it hash, this is John. Now you print anything that you want to what, print. We'll call it, what, multi-line what, comment. You are using multiple line to explain your syntax that you want to what, type. Then another way you can do this is by using column. For example, this this is John, comma, this is John, comma, this is John. Then you can print anything that you want. John. You can see that this will actually work. Now you see that it runs perfectly. Now, when you have a multi-line comments to do, I prefer using this particular one. You just what, three semicolons. I don't know, this is one, two, three, this is one, two, three. Now when you reduce this, it will give you an error. You can see when you print this, it will give you an error. So it must be what? 3. For it to be perfect, it must be 3, right? For it to be able to work, it must be 3 for it to be able to work. Then another thing is prevent executing code using comments. Now comments can be, can be valuable when you are debugging code. If you encounter error running a program, instead of removing code segments, we can, comment them out to prevent execution. Now for example, if you have something like this: number 1 is equals to 10, num number 2 is equals to what? 15. Number 2 is equals to 15, and you have the sum is equals to num 1 and 2, right? Then um you can print, let's say, this comment: the sum is sum, right? Calling back this variable, the sum is sum. Then you have another one here. For example, print, right, the product is product. Now you will run into errors. Why will you run into errors? This is a comment, right? This is a string, sorry. Why will you run into error? Because product is not being defined in this case. So when you run this, you have to see that you entered what? Name error. This is the type of error that you entered. Name what? Error. So how do you solve this problem? When you encounter some of this problem, you can use comments to actually what you can use comments to prevent executing some of this code. So what you just to use, what you comment it out. When you comment it out and run it, you have what? The sum is what? 25. So why do you use comment? Now the first thing you use comment for is for future reference. Now for future reference, a comment make our code what? Readable. Whenever you write a code, you explain, you use comment to explain what the code is all about, right? Now another thing that you can use comment for is for debugging. Now another thing also is for collaboration. Now for code, now a comment help peer developer to understand others code, because the way I did this, another person may do it in different way. The way this is that I have number 1 is equals to 10, right? And number 2 is equals to what's it called, 15. Now someone can decide to do this: print in brackets number 1, right, plus number 2. Now it will still give me the same answer. You can see that this is a different code, this what is a different code, but they are all what? Saying the same thing. Now comment, you can use it to in collaboration to explain the codes to others, the person understand, okay, this is what you are trying to do. So this is the importance of what? Comments. This is the importance of comments. Now as I said before, let's recap. If you want to make use of multi-line comments, I will advise you to make use of this, because it makes it neater, it makes your code what? Neater. And if you want to make use of single line comments, I will advise you to make use of this particular what? One, using hash tag, right? Now, in our next class, we'll be entering what? We'll be entering Python fundamentals. Python fundamentals. So this video will be in series until we finish everything concerning what? Python. We'll be talking more of Python Python variables and literals in our next video. So bye. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the only way you can support us. And also on your notification bell, because the next video will be on Python variables and literals.